Next up, we are going to talk about Chingy, who recently
Chingy.
bent the knee and backed out. So, for anyone who doesn't know about this, Chingy was slated to perform at a Republican event with Donald Trump Jr.
Mm.
And at first, he was defending his decision to do so, but eventually he backed out because I guess the criticism, the noise and the criticism was too loud, and
Nah.
so he kind of cut his losses and decided that he was going to withdraw from performing at this event.
Okay.
So this says Chingy backs out of performing at Republican event with Donald Trump Jr. after criticism. Chingy has backed out of performing at a Republican event after people online criticize his inclusion in the lineup. You know what? Just because I don't want to be in the middle of this mess, I have declined performing, and no, I'm not a Trump supporter nor a supporter of anyone else but Chingy. There you have it. Wrote the
Oh, no, he didn't.
rapper. Wrote the rapper in the comments section of a Baller Alert Instagram post. Chingy became the talk of the internet after being revealed to be a performer at Red, White, and Rock in
Wow.
Nashville, Tennessee, an event to support LGBT conservatives set for September 29th. The internet ripped him a new one, joking on everything from him being the most popular performer on the bill to why he'd even agreed to go in the first place. So there's like a graphic there, and
LGBT.
Chingy appears to be the only melanated person on here, as well as the only, you know, non-Caucasian person by the looks of it. Not that that matters, just pointing out an observation. Uh, and so here are people who are reacting to it, and quite a lineup of headliners for the Log Cabin Republican event. Um, I'm gonna say this one time: my job is to perform and get paid to perform, not cur about politics.
Oh my
Now
God.
y'all find something else to do with your time. So he's really leaning into this.
Jeez Louise.
Yeah. So yeah, people, and that was Chingy, by the way, who were chiming in on that. So here are people who are responding here with memes and gifs. Chingy being the most famous person on that GOP event lineup is just so here's people having fun with this. You know, we
Mm.
looking at Chingy. So people didn't really take too kindly to this. Was worried when I saw Chingy trending, and now I'm still worried. So Black Twitter seeing Chingy on this flyer. Why not? I'll go ahead and play this. Why not? It's short and sweet. Oh wait, hold on. I need the sound. All right, here we go.
Why are you here, bitch?
Some people would say Chingy is short and sweet, but that's another.
2024 weird AF boy Chingy. So yeah, Chingy's initial response to the backlash was to dismiss anyone speaking out against him. And yeah, this is the quote again. I'm gonna say this one time. My job is to perform, and I get paid to perform, not cur about politics. Now y'all find something else to do with your time. After someone suggested he's performing because he needed the money, that Grape Juice reports that Chingy responded to their comment, but it appears to have been deleted, and explained that he's performing because the people are fans of his music. You can't be down bad when you just bought a $500,000 house, pimp. Those people don't hate me because they love my music. Music isn't racist, and that's how I play it. Chingy reportedly added, all this nonsense y'all creating bothers me none. I'm a performer. Whether these people are political, homosexual, or whatever, they all love music. I have classic records they all love, and I will perform them for them. So I hope that helps you understand that my job as an artist is to perform and make timeless music that I did. Tickets for the event range from $1,000 for general admission all the way up to $50,000. I don't know what the hell you're paying for. Who's gonna pay? I don't know who's paying for that. That's crazy.
Oh my God.
Chingy also questioned why websites that reported on the event and the backlash to his inclusion didn't acknowledge that the city of St. Louis recently declared September 14th as Chingy Day. Hey, y'all, the mayor just made September 14th Chingy Day in St. Louis. Why is that not on y'all blogs pages? Because it's not relevant. Um,
What's up with this dude?
So that's pretty much the gist of it. So, but as you can see at the top, if we were going to come all the way back to the top of this here, he did back out. So, he said, I have declined performing, and no, I'm not a Trump supporter, nor a supporter of anyone else but Chingy. There you have it. So, despite all of that grandstanding, at the end of the day, he did back out, and he is not going to be there. So, what are your thoughts on Chingy declining to perform at this event after initially defending his decision to do so as much as he did?
I mean, this is a mess. Honestly, that's what I think about this. I mean, I don't even know what he's thinking. I don't know what his thought process was on this. I mean, I know he was chasing the cash, and I know his well, I don't know, but I assume what his political ideologies are because he he had some videos, some years ago, social media wise, where he was discussing, various topics, and it was on the conservative side, as crazy as that sounds. So I'm not surprised that he's showing up to this event. But the thing is that I think he doesn't understand the people that are his fans. Uh, even though it's a limited amount. Um, those people, I would argue, are more on the liberal side than conservative side. So, um, so for when this is hitting airwaves, and letting everybody know he's going to be showing up to this event, I don't think, that his remaining fans, would even show up to this event, let alone pay 1,000 to 50,000 for a ticket. I mean, what the hell? So,
Well, it kind of sounded like he was doing the Jordan thing of Republicans wear shoes too. It
mhm.
seemed to me like he was saying, I got fans who are Republicans and conservative too.
I
That's what
mean,
it sounded like.
listen, okay. So, all right. Chingy doesn't have any fans. Let's just be honest. There's people there. Everybody knows of Chingy, but nobody's actually a fan of Chingy's. Last week, man, you were telling D1 to not rap. I think I think Chingy should not be rapping. I think he needs to just be, you know what I'm saying? I guess, of course, he's an ally. I guess he's a part of the community. Well, openly a part of the community now. So, just lean into that. You know what I'm saying? Pun intended. So, I don't really see why he needs to crawl from whatever cave he was hiding under or hiding in to do this. I guess he felt like, you know what I'm saying, and he's talking cash money still. I
Yeah.
ain't broke. How I'm broken if I bought this? Like, bro, are you serious? Do you know what year this is? Nobody talks like that anymore. You know what I'm saying? So he's out of touch. This is just hella weird. And honestly, I'm not even surprised he backed out. But again, his remaining fans, I would argue, are on the liberal side, on the blue side of things. And he probably hurt future money with this for whatever little shindig, hole in a wall stuff he decides to do. Because it was like, yeah, right. You went for Orange Man, and I'm not going to your show. So I think it was just best for him to just back out of this. He still got the bad PR and the backlash as if he actually went. So damn, Chingy, you all the way messed up. So yeah, man, I think this was just a bad play on his end, man. But what are your thoughts, sir, on Sir Chingy attempting to attend this rally and then backing out at the last second because of all the backlash? What are your thoughts?
Yeah, he's not a smart person. That's what this tells me. He's not smart
Can't read the
because
room,
he agreed to do it in the first place.
man.
So I don't know what he thought. Yeah, I agree with you. I'm going to bet without. I don't need to look at any polling numbers
Mm-hmm.
to to reasonably conclude that if there are any people out there who would classify themselves as Chingy fans, I don't know who y'all are. I don't know who y'all are, but if you're out there and you classify yourself as a Chingy fan,
Mhm.
I'm willing to also bet that you're voting for the Democrats. I wouldn't imagine. I don't know. That's a delusional assertion to me to
Mhm.
suggest that you have all of these fans, therefore it would benefit you to perform at a Republican event. That to me is like not reading the room and
Mhm.
making a decision that doesn't make sense. But that's why I also think that part of his reasoning is a lie.
Right.
Because why would you do something so nonsensical if it wasn't for the money? Um, that doesn't make sense to me. It must be for the money. If you're going to be paid a certain amount of money to do something that goes against your best interests, the money has to entice you enough to do it. Otherwise, it doesn't make sense to do it. So I think all the way around, he's not making sense, and he sounds like he makes ill-advised, unintelligent decisions. And not too long ago, we did a topic where hot new hip hop was reporting that according to the Donald Trump campaign, they were
Mhm.
going to ramp up their strategy for appealing to black voters by having rappers and hip hop people perform at Republican events. Remember when we talked about that?
That's right.
So Chingy is clearly a part of that initiative. And aside from the opportunity to make money or your delusions of grandeur to believe that you have a room full of Chingy fans at a Republican event, the idea that you would be asked to perform at this show, um, the thought of why should creep into your mind. Are you being asked to perform at this event because you're genuinely appreciated for your talents and your contributions to music? Or are you being asked to perform at this event as a part of a larger operation to try and appeal to certain constituencies or segments of voters, and they couldn't find nobody else, so here they are reaching into the empty bag and pulling out a chingy, and you capitulate to this, and I have no choice but to believe you're capitulating to that because you need the money. Otherwise, it doesn't make sense. You can't truly believe those words that just came out of your mouth, that that room is going to be full of Chingy fans. I couldn't possibly gather that you really believe that to be true. That has to be something that you've told yourself to allow yourself to better reconcile the fact that you're in the position to allow yourself to be chosen as a pawn in this grand scheme to try and appeal to certain people who may decide to vote one particular way over the other. And not even for Chingy, but to anybody else who allows themselves to be used in this manner. Like, and I get it. It's a difficult like distinction to make. How do I know that I am being asked to contribute to this, not because of my talents and my contribution, but because I'm being used as a pawn to convince people that this individual cares about people who are fans of my work? How do you make that distinction? Right. And it's a hard distinction to make. I'm not in that position. Smarter people than me are paid to be able to make that distinction. But if you get even the slightest inclination that
Mhm.
you are being utilized as a pawn and not being invited to something because you're genuinely appreciated, you shouldn't go. But it obviously to me is no coincidence that Chingy is the only hip hop person that's on that bill, because when's the last time that he was even relevant? 15, 20 years ago? Like, this isn't the early 2000s. This isn't the early 2000s, and I don't think that anybody who is a part of that cohort is going to be sitting in that room at that event. I'm just not buying that. I'm not buying that. But musically you haven't been relevant in a very long time, yet you agreed to this anyway. And I can't see any other reason for why one would choose to do that other than the money. The money must be good enough because you're not relevant enough to make it in music without being pandered to in this particular capacity. But just don't allow yourself to be a pawn. And I think in this particular instance, he allowed himself wittingly to be a pawn in this grand scheme. And it kind of sucks because I think in more civil political times, when we're dealing with um, a political cycle where you have two candidates with integrity and a good track record and a good record of public service, and they actually speak on policy and not on glittering, glowing, pie in the sky notions and fear tactics and identity politics. um, in those more civil times, I would actually be saying to Chingy, you should have stuck to your guns and stayed there, because go to that event and allow yourself to be somewhat of a beacon for the promotion of diversity of thought and being able to think beyond the parameters of what your immediate environment has always conditioned you to believe, and think differently. Go outside the box. Maybe this particular position best suits you, even if your community is telling you that it doesn't suit you. But we don't live in those times currently, and we're dealing with very tricky, unique modern American politics, swashbuckling, mudslinging,
Mm-hmm.
a lack of talking about policy. It's all
Mm-hmm.
about identity politics. And so I can't actually say you should have stuck to your guns and went anyway. And instead, I have to say you should have read the room and not signed up for that in the first place, because you allowed yourself to be a pawn in this particular situation. And it's unfortunate, because whatever semblance of fans and cachet he had left, I kind of feel like he flushed it down the toilet. And it's his own fault. People need to understand. Last week when we was talking about Diddy, I was saying that we as humans need to do a better job of, like, upholding values and standards and merits over the opportunity to make money, because the money may come, but at what expense? At what toll with respect to human decency? And people like Chingy, by all accounts, and I'm not necessarily trying to rag on the guy,
Mm-hmm.
but it is what it is. I think people in his position choose to ignore those principles for the opportunity to make money in lieu of being a pawn. And it's unfortunate, but that's what I think happened here. Um, you know, I think he should have. I do. He should have just went and did it anyway, because the damage has already been done.
Exactly.
The damage to your namesake is already there. You already got fans that you done lost, sacrificed in the process. You should have just went and got that little check anyway, bro, because you're gonna come back to the same vitriol and criticism nevertheless.
Exactly. You know what I'm saying? I mean, right now, I'm throwing you under the bus for backing out. You don't win doing this, dude. You know what I'm saying? But you're right, bro. This was two birds with one stone. Maybe three. He's African American. He does hip hop, and he's LGBT. So, there it was all kinds of things with this, because that's what it was. They had to find somebody that was, because they weren't going to have two rappers at their convention. So they needed one to fit all of them. And Chingy was the only person that came to mind, honestly. And so that's the only reason why I think they consulted him. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm pretty sure it was like a spreadsheet. Uh, it was a spreadsheet with all attributes on there, and he's the only one that fit.
Yeah, he's a triple threat. He a triple threat, huh? Chingy a
Yeah,
triple threat.
and that's what I'm
Yeah.
saying, bro. Just lean into this. Make a new career out of it, because you don't have a career anywhere else. So be the gay conservative rapper. And he ruined that opportunity for himself. Because my thing is if he stuck with it, there was more opportunities down the line to keep pandering down this lane. And yeah, you were going to catch the initial flack, but you were going to get, because there are gay black conservatives, and they were going to get online with, because I really think he is a conservative for real, and they would have got online with all of your stuff, and you would have had real hardcore grassroots fans. But instead of the people that just know some of your songs, that have them in a playlist because it's part of some early 90s party mix, those people aren't your fans. When the last time you sold out a venue that wasn't 6 people? So I don't know why he did this to himself. This was just bad all the way around. I don't know who he has in his corner. Probably nobody. He probably is his own manager at this point. And if you did just buy a $500,000 house, I would have took this gig that probably paid him about 10K or more, 15. I would have took that, bro. You know what I'm saying? But Now, now you're just a laughing stock from people that thought that you were lame for doing this or signing up for this, and a laughing stock to me for somebody that thinks you shouldn't have backed out of it. So my whole thing is stand on business. Whatever you're about, man, just stand on that. And when you standing on that, man, there's gonna be people that rock with you. Those are only people that you want following and being what you about anyway, is the people that actually think how you think. But when you out here pandering and doing all this weird stuff and still trying to be a big shot guy with your fake jewelry and all this other stuff, still claiming that all this stuff that's early 2000 garbage, you just lose everybody, man. So, but what else do you expect from somebody that was an industryite? Somebody that was out there, doing his thing and really loved it. So, yeah, Chingy, man, this is really unfortunate, bro. For your sake, man. But yeah, man. Hopefully, I don't know what he should do. I really don't know what because he ruined every bag now. So just go back, bro. So just take this. If not this opportunity, the next convention, man, or the next type of thing you can show up to, bro, and just do it on the low. But yeah, I think this is a situation where you're right that they had the red people had an agenda, and I just think Chingy fit. But again, this just shows you how out of touch the red people are.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
I mean, they. I think that the red people. I think the GOP knows
Mhm.
that smarter artists aren't going to just sign up
That's
to
true.
perform at their show because they're not. They're not. Even if they are lean, even if they do lean conservative or tend
Yeah,
to
yeah.
vote Republican, they're not going to say it publicly. Number
Right.
one,
Right.
because it's going to alienate their fan base.
Correct.
And they are aware that these artists, most of them at least, are smart enough to not do that. So you have to reach for has-beens like him who don't really have a fan base or an audience. Therefore, there's less for people like him to lose.
Yeah, that's fair.
The
Yeah.
only the only issue with people like him is like don't your pander meter. People need a pander meter. Like like you know what it is? Like we need to create an app that's a pander meter,
Yeah.
and based on whatever decision you make, if your meter exceeds like the reasonable level for pandering,
Yeah.
that's the only time that you need to back out of a particular decision.
Yeah.
Because he should have been able to know that his pander meter already exceeded reasonable levels by agreeing to it in the first place.
Yes.
So now at that point, backing out of it does you no good because you've already alienated everybody who doesn't like the fact that you agreed to do it in the first place. So now you're trying to double back on the pandering in an effort to double pander. And now what you end up doing is creating a net loss for yourself.
Correct.
Like an overall like lesson for me is in any event, pandering serves no one. It doesn't
Agreed.
serve the people you're pandering to, and it doesn't serve the panderer. It really doesn't, because the masses, the population, even though it's an effective tactic, in the long run, it does the population harm when they are, incited to perform a particular action due to pandering. But it also doesn't serve the panderer because you're a panderer. And it makes you look like an empty shell who's devoid of the ability to think for themselves, which is a real big issue. And that's what he personifies to me. But it's like he tried to double back on the pandering by pandering initially to the GOP and then backing out to pander to what he perceives to be what's left of his original fan base.
Mm-hmm.
And the double pandering just resulted in a net negative. And now you're just by yourself. You should have just went for it anyway and got the money, bro. Because let's be honest, the original reason why you even agreed to it in the first place had to be for finances. It couldn't have been because you really thought you had a room full of people in there who were fans of your music. You cannot be that naive. You can't be. But people who are down and out, I don't know his situation,
Mm-hmm.
but people who tend to make nonsensical decisions like that tend to be doing it for reasons other than what they claim. There's usually a different reason behind why they're doing it. But at the end of the day, being a panderer slash pandering and being a pawn for socio-political or otherwise political initiatives is never a good look. But it's no coincidence that someone who is bottom of the barrel, in my opinion, would be the person who becomes the center of a discussion like this, because more relevant people aren't going to allow themselves to be subjected to that madness.
Yeah, man, they need a pander PFF grade for people like this. His pander QBR is it's a league low at this point, man. You know,
Bro, this is
among
a
all,
this is a
oh, good.
this is a classic example of not having a. What do you usually say when people do bonehead stuff? It's like, did you consult your PR person? Like when we
Yeah,
talk about Tyrese, it's like, before you go out there and post this stuff, bro, run it by your publicist to make sure
she
that
doesn't
it's
have one.
above board.
She doesn't have one.
And this is classic. I don't have anybody to run anything by. I'm just gonna do stuff.
Yeah, man. And we're gonna talk about Meek Mill in a few, man. You know, people that just need somebody in their corner to just tell them to put the phone down. Uh, but yeah, man, this guy's ratings are at an all-time low at this point, man. Out of all the wash rappers, man, to resurface and do something goofy like this, you went under your old rating of just being washed. If he had said nothing, done nothing, he would have just been a wash rapper. Now he just resurfaced to just clown himself yet again. So
Yeah.
congratulations, Sir Chingy, for somehow, some way having a lower stock in our community than you already had. So, hey man, something tells me you're gonna drop that rating yet again, and I will be here to laugh at you once more. So, thanks for the good chuckles, Chingy.
Yeah. Yeah. Good luck, bro. I hope you can. I hope you have enough of an equity stake in that $500,000 house you just bought, because you're gonna need it.
Sheesh, you get no love around her. Hey, let us know down in the comment section, guys. What do you guys believe? You feel like Chingy should have stuck with his plan, stuck to his guns, and just did the damn show anyway and got the bag? Or do you feel like it was wise for him to back out of this? You know, because he's got a lot of fans out there that are gonna go to his next show. So let us know down in the comment section, guys. I would love to know
Yeah.
your thoughts.
Let him tell it. Let him tell it. It's gonna be a lot of fans that go to his next show, according to him.
Lord have mercy. Wow.